veganism, self-reliance, Game of Thrones, these things and more coming at you, WittyBantr style.
Nice. Changing up the intro.
Yeah, we gotta switch it
Get
up.
straight into it.
Yeah, your regular hosts, Nabil, Daniel, and Anika are here. We're gonna come here with some crazy energy right now.
Whoa,
where was this coming from? Maybe I've had too much coffee today.
Maybe it was because you only had 2 hours of sleep.
No, I had a little more than that.
And you're delirious.
I'm not delirious. I'm just in it. I'm tapped into the muse right now, and I made my own bread yesterday, gluten-free, vegan style.
Nice. Vegan.
Something about getting cows together in one area and just slaving them away just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's also dangerous to the environment. So I thought it's a good thing to make bread with no butter.
Do you make bread with milk?
I didn't make it with milk. I don't know if you can, but
No cows.
No
Were
cows.
abused.
no cows
In the
are
making of
abused
this
in the
bread.
making of this bread. I mean, it's
Nice.
pretty like one could say it's a gamey bread, rustic,
Rustic.
rustic in the sense that it's
Staley.
very plain.
Yes.
I had a vegan Jamaican jerk. That's really good. I want to start making that. It's like Jamaican jerk seasoning, but on like cooked tofu and quinoa. That was good.
So in the thing of muses and banter and wittiness, the bread you made allows the spread to shout out.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
The spread to shout out?
You have to use
Yes.
language terms.
Is
with
it
this.
the spread?
What's the spread in
the
this
spread
case?
on the bread?
Oh, I see. It stands out more because the
Yes.
bread is not the star of the show. Clearly,
It's the spread.
it's the base, but it allows you to
Yes.
spread.
it
Yeah,
allows
that's
you-
true.
Yes.
Yeah, but I guess it's related to like I was feeling. Well, I've always felt like the last thing I want is something wrong with my colon. So that's why I've been like shying away from meat, even though I haven't been good about it. But I like the idea of eating less meat. And then I'm like, well, if I'm not eating meat, or if I try not to eat meat, then I can try not to eat dairy.
If you want to know reasons why, read How Not to Die or see like a summary of it, because he like explains it really well on like the benefits of it from a scientific perspective.
Tell us more.
Well, one, there's like the main argument he makes is like he'll compare different areas in the world and ones that do have vegan diets and ones that don't. And typically heart disease is the number one killer. And a lot of areas where they do have a vegan diet, like in India, they have problems of like, I don't know,
People ever eat
sanitation.
too many fats.
They have
Like other health, they die of other health
issues.
problems, but heart disease isn't.
Oh,
one
wait. I thought, because I'm reading something in relation to that, and it's called, gosh, I forget the name of it.
Should I read Michael's thing?
Please do.
All right, Michael coming in here. If you don't eat meat, do you still get all the amino acids you need?
And quinoa is one of those.
I thought that is a big issue with girls going vegan, is that they can become anemic because they don't get all the correct nutrition from a meatless diet. I agree with Mikey.
So one problem people have with vegan diets is they don't like diversify what they're eating.
They only
So,
eat
like-
chickpeas.
Or like Oreos. Technically, Oreos are
Oreos.
that's
Okay,
vegan.
Fine.
But like they'll eat like crackers and like I don't know, just things that aren't meat.
Where can
but
we get amino acids?
amino acids? Quinoa.
Is that a
Quinoa has a
vegetable?
lot of the protein amino acids that
Is that a
Michael's talking
vegetable?
about. No, it's a grain seed. It's like
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is, but
And-
it's like a seed grain type of thing.
Okay.
That originated in Africa.
And spinach helps with some of what anemia causes, a lack of iron in your blood.
And
I see.
B12 is another thing that a lot of people miss in vegan diets. I forget what.
Yeah, I'm just
What has
concerned that there's not a good way to mass produce it in a way that's not like damaging other
Mass
things.
produce what?
meats.
Well, maybe we eat too much of it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I mean, I know Americans are notorious. I mean, the American diet is notorious for being heavy on red meat.
Right.
Whether it's burgers.
But even if everyone ate it in a controlled manner, would it be less pollutant to have a farm of cows, or would it be less pollutant to have a farm of quinoa?
I would imagine the latter would be less pollutant.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you've got all these...
And these are things that are just going to happen, It's like most humans don't really care.
So you're thinking more of like the global or
environmental
environmental
I'm thinking like managing
impact.
humans,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, at some point we'll have to... We've made it so easy.
See, everyone's like, at some point we'll figure it out. When the world's on fire, then we'll figure it out.
No, yeah, go ahead. What does Michael have to say about it?
Michael coming at us with a lot of info here.
Yes.
A lot of things have different amino acids, and if you go vegan, I think you have to eat a wide variety of vegan foods to get the correct amino acids. But I'm not sure about all the new plant-based meat and Impossible burgers. Oh yeah, that's true. The fake meat stuff. That's a good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the way they make it, they include stuff like quinoa to give you amino acids, but you put some of the veggie meat in the quiche that you make sometimes, and that's pretty good taste wise. So
right. And then as far as like the nutrients are concerned, I definitely think that like you can go wrong on the vegan diet and like miss out on some of those nutrients.
Right.
But like I feel like whatever the typical diet most people are doing now probably doesn't have a lot of
me eating meat. Otherwise, it's like my diet is not.
You're probably missing
balanced.
out on a lot of the plant like nutrients.
Yeah.
So I feel like that argument could be used on both ends, but like you definitely need to be careful when you're switching your diet and making sure.
And then just the idea of it would be cool if you could. I like the idea of buying food material that doesn't expire very soon.
But then that's supposed to be the worst type, the one that
just dry, like dried chickpeas.
Oh yes.
As opposed to chicken, it goes bad after.
Or even fruit, it just goes bad in a week, basically.
Right.
Although dried fruit is high sugar content.
That's true, but if you eliminate
frozen fruit.
If you eliminate candies, you could use that as and desserts. You could use that as your dessert.
Like
true.
Yes.
I think that would be a healthier alternative.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the idea of like buying like in bulk your kind of base materials, and then you can kind of not have to manage your food as much.
But I thought the self-sufficiency that you started out with so much energy would relate somehow to not buying. I mean, the word buying wouldn't come into it.
Well, so I do draw lines. So
yes.
I'm okay with buying like chickpeas and dried chickpeas. I don't care to grow them. So that's where I'm. So the human society can farm these things, and then I will pay to take it off their hands from that point on. So I'm trying to think of things other than chickpeas and
what isn't
legumes.
Sustainable is like almonds, nuts, and stuff. They take a lot of
Anything
water.
with almond, anything with oil in as well tends to have a shelf life. Although it's got.
What about olive oil?
Shelf. Olive oil
Oils, those are good.
They go,
but they also have a shelf life.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's long, right?
It's long, yeah.
Okay, so I'm fine with that. What other things have long shelf life that would be a good base for many meals?
But basically, you could dry any food.
No,
that's
just
what
something.
Historically, people have done. Even
that's
vegetables, you put them out in the sun, you dry them.
How about stuff that?
Even meat you can dry.
True.
Yeah.
Beef jerky.
That's true.
Yes, and that's what people did back in the day.
That's
back
true.
in caveman days. When
No. Even more recent, in the more recent times, recent past.
How about foods that you think can be mass produced in an efficient way? What can you name some of those type of foods?
Probably all the legumes you were saying.
Right, but other than legumes.
So is mass production and efficiency somehow it seems those terms are contradictory to the concept of veganism and.
But I think you should put them together because
okay.
you can't just throw away the benefit of mass production. The benefit is you get the rich are not the only ones who get a quality product.
We waste a lot of food in this whole mass production concept. We throw away in the developed world.
Not even not at the consumer end, but at the
at the
corporate
manufacturing end. Yes.
Like even restaurants, they'll throw a lot of food away.
But even before that, apparently farms throw a lot of food away.
But I think
to create market.
If we picked more foods that have longer shelf lives, I think that might reduce a little bit.
Right. I agree.
Could. Yes.
Because then you're not. You buy all those avocados
so
and then you don't use one.
What about acquiring tastes? I mean, even if you notice in the last 10 or 15 years, the kind of foods that you might not have used to eat 10 years ago, like, I mean, talk about faddish avocado on toast, which I love, was not part of our repertoire a few years back.
Yeah, that's true.
And so if you were making change in people's choices and how they make choices, what would that look like? So chickpeas, since hummus came on the last 15-20 years, hummus has become a
more mainstream.
Yes. So that is chickpea based,
right?
What are your thoughts about that? And I don't know what direction the conversation could go with that, but it's just fads and
I mean, I don't know, I guess my thoughts are it's good if we can, if I look at myself, I just want to pick some staples that will last a long time
and are easy to make,
and then I don't have to worry about, I don't have to grocery shop every week if I don't, if I have supplies.
If I have to.
Yeah, if I have to. I can order it on Amazon.
But isn't there the pleasure of grocery shopping? Because I do enjoy going and looking at all the produce and think, look what's in season nowadays and let's get this versus that.
I think the lines just kill that joy of picking
not that
stuff.
Long.
Our Safeway, they are.
Yeah, they don't have the self-checkout.
We need to automate that process.
Yeah.
What were the other 3 things I listed in the beginning of this program? I listed a few things other than veganism. Well, I guess we went through the first 2, veganism and self-reliance, self-sustainability.
I was thinking before we joined was the concept of a weekend and how new it is in human history and how, and I was thinking we all feeling kind of lazy today and, the weekend, Manim likes to play golf and we're just being lazy and having our French toast and that kind of, we never think of having something like that on the weekday, but I like the concept of sitting outside and having breakfast. Will the concept of a weekend go away?
No.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? It's only about 100 years old.
Yeah, and I think the direction we should be going is results-based work where the expectation is not Monday through Friday you work and 9 to 5 and you're always working. It's more of problems that come up, you solve them, and then you can kind of.
So at some point will we
explore new ideas or relax or whatever you want, but it'll be like it'll be a very variable thing.
So if life becomes very efficient as far as growth, vegetables and all that, and as well as automated as far as computers and all that, will the concept of even prioritizing work will it be weekend is the priority, or the weekend concept of relaxation, taking naps, having long breakfasts? Will we as humans
prioritize that? Probably.
So what would this
maybe
reverse universe look like?
Some would prioritize that, and then others who are more curious and enjoy their work would focus on the work progressing. Some are fine with just maintaining, and that's fine. And others want to progress, and those would be the two big general categories of people.
I think it is possible to lose the weekends though, if like work becomes so remote and so easy to access, and people expect,
Yeah. So I guess that kind of goes to what I was saying. So I guess you might lose the weekend, but you'll gain weekends during the week, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
Right,
yes, yes. So
it could be a Tuesday and just nothing's happening, and there's no expectation because you've established, you're here to solve problems as
will
they
it cause
come
an
up.
anticlimax? And hey, I'm relating it to our binge watching of Game of Thrones over the last month, and all of a sudden now we have nothing to binge watch, nothing to look forward to.
I guess
in
we've
that
already
way.
been through.
You can binge.
been through
You can
it?
binge
Yeah,
work.
You can binge work.
You can still go if you want to do Monday through Friday. Just go, just work.
No, binge weekend.
Oh,
Because that's something you're looking forward to. I guess you could binge if you're looking forward to something. That's the concept, isn't it? You like it so much
yeah,
that you're getting to some level of addiction to it.
yeah.
And so you'll just keep doing it until you've fulfilled that need.
I think you'll be able to take that time off if you need it. I think you'll be able to say, yeah, I'm going to binge this stuff. So, I don't know how. And actually, I don't even think you'll need to give. I imagine a world where everyone picks up. There's so many people ready to solve the problem that they'll pick up even if you just let it go.
So if you could just kind of hold your breath for a while, somebody else will take the responsibility.
Yeah, because there'll be some sort of monetary gain attached to it or
Well,
something.
so you and Michael had this little ritual on the weekend in New York.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what are the rituals of the weekend that you look forward to? And you seem to look forward to it. It was a Saturday. You never went on a Sunday, did you?
Yeah, it was definitely Saturday. Sunday I would stay inside.
Yes.
Saturday I'd go from New Jersey, take the train, half an hour to New York City, and then meet with Michael to eat at a restaurant, and then some pastry place usually.
How did you look for those things? Where did the ritual start? And
Google.
Where was it? No, as in, when did you start planning for this? Was this Saturday morning you would contact each other, or was it somewhere earlier?
Earlier on it was Friday. We would be more prepared, but then we got lazy and we kind of just. It would be
ear?
Yeah, and it'd be I would be all right, I'm on my way, and it would take me 45 or 30 to 45 minutes to get to his location.
Yeah.
And then the only things we would have to plan for is if we were going to some other borough other than Manhattan, like Brooklyn or that's we only went to Brooklyn. We didn't go to Queens or something.
And then what about the pastry thing? How did you?
The pastry thing. There was more. Yeah, we would just pull out our phone and then kind of Google pastry places near us, and then just find one. And they have very good, I guess you would call boutique restaurants and pastry shops.
Michael said something.
We had a list. We did have a list. I think we still have it. We would give it a rating or something afterwards. Right. Then Googled the best cafe bakery near us. The first time we Yelped a place, Paul's the Burger Joint, and it was not good.
What were the reviews on that?
It was good reviews.
It's the
But it
best
was
burger
just
I've ever had.
yeah, stuff like that. And then when you go there, it's just this big meat patty, but not very well seasoned. It was just very plain. It was edible, but but the amount we paid was I think we paid each $15 or $18, something like that, for the whole meal.
Oh damn!
So Daniel and I had a Friday. Sometimes it was Friday, sometimes it was Saturday. When you were in New Jersey, and we would walk over to places on Woodside.
Oh yeah,
Plaza.
the Woodside grill,
grill,
and
or
then the seafood place. I forget what it's
sushi
called.
place, and then
Sushi place too.
yes, and it was nice and relaxing. I did that the other day with Munim, where we just walked over, had some yogurt, and then went for a walk around. So the walking past is usually fun. Michael's got something else to say, and there's somebody saying something.
No,
We
it's
can't
just
speak to the
Ajit.
chair.
Ajit
yes.
has said, "Damn, put Paul's on blast." Paul's the burger joint. Yeah, well, that's like robbery. It's a fraud.
Yeah, I
So
wonder
it
what Ajit and Michael did this weekend. If their routine
Oh, they hung
was
out
in.
with us.
Well, Ajit did
Ajit did.
anyway.
Oh, okay.
I think Michael's studying.
Okay.
What was the third thing I said in the intro?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
And my prediction was totally wrong. I should have guessed that
Nobody else is gonna
nobody will die until today.
My prediction was like, if anyone will die, it'll be Bronn. But I don't think I said there would be people dying last
People
week.
are ready. They kind of they prepared us last week for something,
Is coming.
Everybody's on good terms with each other. They're all gathering forces
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
before they go and fight.
But they do have some foreshadowing issues
Tell us.
of like Daenerys and Sansa, who's going to be like, will you be Queen of the North? Because we don't want anyone controlling us.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So there was kind of that. And that was kind of like the end of the discussion. Like, okay, let's talk about, or someone else walked
They
in.
were on. They
They were on good terms initially. They're like, oh,
Yes,
let's work
yes,
together. Let's do
yes,
this
yes,
out.
yes.
And then Sansa was like, yeah, but what happens to the North after,
Hmm.
you take the throne? Because we want to be separate. And then she was like, ooh.
I'm not buying Sansa's story. How is she this like confident like?
I actually like her growth.
Yeah, I guess it's good. I just don't understand how
What?
you go from a tortured, spoiled person
She's had enough.
to and tortured to like leadership.
You know
like
what was
this.
the big move was the...
I mean, I guess you're learning. Yeah, go ahead.
There was like two big moves for her. One, she brought the Knight's Veil and sent the message to Peter. And so people saw that as oh, this person knows how to, do politics. And then also got that guy killed, or Peter killed, because he was...
Wait, but she brought the Knight's Veil, or she asked Peter to bring the Knight's Veil?
She asked Peter to, but that's considered good negotiating or good,
I suppose.
right? Kind of like how Tyrion doesn't actually control... Well, I guess he did control an army at one point, but
Right.
he doesn't do too much in-battle stuff. He's more of like
Well,
the
it's
political guy.
Yes, it's more strategy than rallying the troops.
Yeah, but I do agree. I don't like... for some reason, I don't like the way she doesn't explain things very well, I've noticed. Like, when Jon was like, what should I watch out from Ramsay? She didn't, like, spell out exactly, like, how he manipulates people and does it. She's
Right,
like,
she's just
I don't
like-
know what it is, but you just have to be careful for what he has planned.
You really
know?
remember the dialogue.
Well, I've watched it like 5 times at this point. So that kind of bothered me. But you
Yeah.
just don't like how she came to power or
No, I guess I'm not buying her
story?
her act.
The change.
Yeah.
Characters are supposed to change. That's what the whole storytelling
Right,
is
but
about.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
feel like they're missing an arc in there,
Yes.
the connection.
I do like Jamie. I think has the best progression because he started out as
yeah,
a villain
I like his progression,
and he became like a good person.
Yes,
and
Right.
it seemed more natural. I mean, like there's nice connections to spell out that change.
Yes.
That he was like his hand chopped off.
Yeah.
and all that. That kind of humbled him.
Right, and he's forced to become friends with
Brienne of Tarth
because they have a common enemy. That
And
makes
together.
sense.
But they also respect each other.
right as fighters and as
Right,
people.
but I'm saying like the start of their friendship
Yes.
is
Mhm.
easily comes because they both have a common enemy, which is the people who have captured them.
right.
Are you predicting that he becomes the king of the seven kings?
I don't
No.
think so.
I don't think so.
either.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't even think he wants
The
that.
Kingslayer.
I don't think he wants it, and that wouldn't make any sense. With
The Kingslayer
Daenerys and
becomes the
Jon,
king.
I think it's got to
Yeah.
be one of those two.
Yeah. I think one of them will.
I think
die.
Jon's gonna die today.
Yeah.
Oh. He was good on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, That's
Did you see
true.
him?
We didn't
But
see
then
that- we didn't
again,
see that
but
in
then
the
again,
season.
I am. It's still a bold statement because I don't think they have the guts to do stuff like that.
They killed him once. I mean, how many times?
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I think Faisal also mentioned that they
Yeah.
killed him once, but like, why is that a reason to not kill him? To me,
Yeah, that
that
guy
to me
died.
that says if he dies again, he's dying for good because after he came back, he said,
Don't
"I
bring me
don't
back.
don't bring me back to life."
And also that
Um,
other guy who was brought back.
But I don't buy that. That's a reason to not kill him.
Right. What was that guy? Cedric? The guy with the eye patch? The only
Well-
name we didn't know.
Oh,
That would be a cheap shot, though, wouldn't it?
and why is that?
Because I think when they killed him the first time, they
Yeah, it was big.
rethought. Yes,
Mm.
and they rethought, and now it's kind of
Rethought though, or you don't think they had the full intentions of bringing him back?
I don't know. Maybe they.
And
did.
also, I don't even know what it says in the book, but
but wasn't that part not in the book?
I don't remember.
Because this is the 7th or 6th season.
Well, during that year
Well, that was not. That was the
that we
fifth?
were waiting.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
that was he was brought back in the 6th, so it was still around the book period. Because 7 was when
Yeah,
we were
that's true.
past.
I don't,
But I remember that year that those series were coming out. Like, oh, is it possible that he'll come back because Melisandre was there?
mhm.
And so people did think that he would come back to life.
So
Series. But I think, yeah, I agree with you. He'll probably die. And the dragon too. I think.
you think what? The one of Danny's dragons is going to die?
Yeah, and then it'll be like, oh no, now we're deaf. Like
mean,
now
like,
there's
now it's gonna be a
really-
1v1.
One
dragon.
will kill the other.
Now they
or
have 2 dragons
The-
and Jon Snow and more. Like
the
they won
night
the war.
one will kill
Like-
the other one. Or they'll set it on fire.
And according to Daniel's prediction, there's going to be a lot of good guys turning into White Walkers this
I
one.
think so, yeah.
Right.
So far,
Because
did
I
you
think
say
we
haven't-
agreed that like they're gonna lose the battle.
I
Like
think
the
they're
white
going-
or the living, I guess, are gonna lose.
And then they're going to be a ragtag team.
They're
that
going to lose
goes-
this battle.
They're going to lose this battle, of course, because there's no conflict otherwise. If they win it, then what?
I mean,
Well,
there's still a
Cersei.
conflict with Cersei, but that's too easy, I feel. I mean, that might be a hard fight, but it's too like, okay, we beat the White Walkers. All right, that was easy.
well, no. Here's the thing: they could lose a lot of people in that
Yes.
this battle,
Yes.
Oh, that's
and then
true.
they
still
win, and now it's an even fight between Cersei and her Golden Compass army
That's
versus
true.
the
But if
remaining.
we want a real climax, we got to bring them real down. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they could kill a lot of people, but still win.
Yeah, that's true.
That's possible.
But what would be the end of the? How could the White Walkers? How could they end?
How can
The-
they die?
Yes. How can they? Because at some point,
I think it's just you have to
Someone's
kill the
gonna-
main guy.
Yeah.
And then
Arya
everybody-
or
they all
someone will kill
lose.
the Night King.
and then your others just kind of roam around this.
No,
The rest die.
they died too because they had
Or
said
they just drive with him.
right.
Yeah, because when Jon killed one of the lords,
Mm.
the White Walkers,
Mm.
the whites that were his minions
Mm,
like also died,
Mm.
and they showed that in one of the episodes. So I think that they're
And that's
saying
the plan for this episode: is to bring out the Night King
To
by
Bran.
using Bran as bait
Yeah,
and then
yes.
killing him.
right.
So what about that whole thing about the history and that the White Walkers want to end memory or end history?
Right, Bran is the three-eyed raven, which is supposed to be a symbol of human memory.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll just read Michael's comment here. I have a bad feeling they're going to lose. Then it's going to be some time travel thing with Bran. I do hope that I do hope that Bran and the Night King have like some mental like battle in a different realm or
Oh.
something.
Yeah.
Well, yes, didn't he change the course of the present by going into the past?
Yeah, he made
Yes.
Hodor have a.
That was kind of strange, but he could do something. You're thinking that he could.
that wasn't.
They could have a mental conflict, and then that would lead to some change in the present.
Right. By the way, I don't think he has full control over that power. I don't think he intended Hodor to do that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
no.
saying? Like
no.
so, like he can affect the
Things
past,
are
but like
happening,
he's not good at
unintentionally.
controlling it. And like the previous three-eyed raven said when he was like, "Am I ready?" He was like, "No," because I don't think he has like full control and knows everything. Like,
although I do like the way people keep saying, we don't know what you mean by that. You know, when he goes, I'm the three-eyed raven.
yeah, what is that? No one
we
knows.
don't know what you mean by that.
He's like,
He's like, what are you talking about?
I know you don't.
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain.
Yes. Michael says, referencing his previous comment, that's been a new trend in movies. He says, so the trend in movies he's saying is they're going to lose, then it's going to become some time travel thing. Okay. He's saying like time travel thing is a trend. So they get all the emotions of people dying, but then a happy ending when it gets reversed. It was all just a dream.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cheap shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's all a dream.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I wonder which movies Michael is referring to, because that would be interesting to know if there's a...
Yeah, I'm not a huge movie guy, I guess.
Yeah.
These days, anyway.
But if you were going to become somebody else, you know, that confuses others, what would you become? Like the one-eared dog? I mean, what would
Yes.
Not the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
I don't know.
what would be...
The two-headed owl.
Why? What would...
Because there's
We
double the
don't know what
knowledge.
double the knowledge?
Owls are knowledgeable.
The one-eyed owl.
Why?
Whoa.
I don't know.
Because he can already move his
Why
head.
does it have to be an eye? What about, you know...
Because, I don't
One-
know, eyes are a very nice
One
symbol of
nostril.
all-seeing.
One nostril squirrel. Because why do you need two?
Yes. Why does a squirrel need a nostril anyway?
To smell
Yeah,
what
one
food is?
bird.
why do we need two nostrils?
In case one...
Oh, everything has
Why
to
don't
be
we have two
balanced.
mouths? Why don't we have two mouths?
No, we have one mouth that has two sides.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's not fit. That's
Yeah.
not. No.
Because we have like two separate filters, you know? So if one filter gets...
Oh, we got a two-tailed monkey.
Whoa.
yeah.
Super swinging action with his
Yes.
tail.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was Faisal saying?
He said two-tailed monkey.
Oh,
That's
I
what he
can't see
said.
from here.
Oh.
Well, I can.
Um.
I don't know why that was a distraction.
Yeah, the three-eyed raven thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be cool if him and the Night King have a battle in a parallel
Cybergalactic.
cybergalactic battle.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a headless Ned walking around this episode.
I think they're going to bring the guys in the crypts alive.
See, I think it's a little ridiculous. That would be crazy.
Do you think...
What?
Bringing headless Ned as a white running around?
So I brought this... I don't know if I brought it up on the last podcast.
That's just
but
silly.
like, basically...
How would we
The
know
previous-
it's Ned?
That's the other thing I was saying. I mean,
So-
he'd be headless, but like,
All right, let me explain. So the previous episode, they kept talking about the crypts, like, oh, don't worry,
Oh,
you'll
yes,
be
yes.
safe in
no,
the
I
crypt.
100% agree that they're not
So-
safe in the crypts.
No,
Yes.
okay. And then I think during the battle, the Night King is going to bring whoever's dead back to life.
Yeah.
And then in turn, the crypts will,
Did
the dead
Ned-
in there will become...
Did Ned get buried in the crypt?
He did. Remember,
What's-
Peter
What-
Baelish brought the
remains.
remains to
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Catelyn.
And where did they leave?
And then they left him in the crypts.
Where did they leave the head?
I don't know if they
Well,
had...
the head is still on the
On the
spike
bike?
in King's
Well,
Landing.
no, they
Oh,
probably
yes,
took
unless
yes.
he
could've taken
No,
the
I
head,
think
didn't
he
he?
took it down.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Actually, we don't know.
But still, it
but
was
so-
not sewn back together.
And so here's the thing with how are they going to know? When they're doing the scene of like, oh, they're all coming back to life, they're going to pan to Ned's crypt and we'll know it's his crypt
No,
because
there'll
it's
be
and
some-
then
his
it's going to be a
face.
Michael
Stitch.
Jackson
And then it'll be
thriller.
Thriller, yeah.
No, there'll
And then
be
he'll
some
come out.
stitches showing on his neck.
And also,
But that's
he's the only one
insane.
he's the only one who's in the crypt without a head. So you'll know,
Yeah.
right?
But but you won't know the other ones, like the sister.
And also, we've seen whites
Liana.
But
without
that'll mess
heads.
with us. I mean, if the
Yeah, that's-
good people become bad people with no reason, why would they mess with us that way? Because now we don't know who to root for. Now are we on Ned's side? Are we on the
I'm
Stark
fine.
side?
I'm fine for it to happen. I just think it's so ridiculous that they're not
They're
going
not
to
going to do it.
Yeah, but I guess we're gonna have to find out.
I think it's cool because then it's like you're thinking like, oh man, I don't want this guy to live, or do I?
Or maybe that is what they'll do.
So
They'll
my-
make us get so confused that we'll say we want Ned Stark
Yeah.
to die.
Michael says they bring back Rob's body with a wolf head sewn on. That's how they killed him.
Oh, that's how they killed Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sewed.
What did
sued.
they? Yes, they sewed.
Sued.
They did not sue. They sewed.
They sewed his wolf's head onto his body or something.
But I'm sure they removed it after they
Why did they do
One,
Where
that?
did his body go, actually?
they did that because to like make fun of him, like, haha, it's the king of the north, the wolves.
Did they even get his body back, though?
I'm sure they did
The
because they
Starks?
killed the guys in River Run. They killed Walder Frey.
Yeah, but where's his body? There was a long
But that would make
gap.
it amusing. It wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I
Did
know.
they-
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
Did they visit the is Rob in the crypts?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't
think so
remember who
either.
would give his body back.
After the Red Wedding?
Yeah,
Well, they definitely didn't give the body back after that.
Catelyn and Rob.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so yeah, something's gonna happen in the crypts for sure.
You don't think it'll be them coming back to life?
I don't think so.
Who's gonna?
I just can't imagine it. Maybe my imagination is just limited.
Well, so on a slightly different note, the documentary we were just watching about the British men who went to India and how young they were and how they became, and it reminds me a bit of what we're talking about, people coming and going in different places. And it also reminded me of the whole concept of travel and the bag that you just got, which is the perfect little carry-on bag. But the young woman in the story, so this was a British officer who goes to India, falls in love with a Muslim woman, converts to Islam. Is a double agent now in Hyderabad for both the British and the Indians. They end up.
And he worked for the East India Company.
He worked for the East India Company, and they have 2 kids, and both those kids end up being shipped off to England and are brought up as Christians, even though when they were in India they were Muslims. And this was back in the 1800s. And the young woman dies at 27. And what happens to her, which is interesting, she goes, because her husband had left, and he was in his 30s, and he dies in India as well and gets buried somewhere far away. And so my thought about people traveling and going to places that they are unfamiliar with,
Yes.
it tends to be, usually it's people go to the warmer regions. Have you noticed that?
I guess.
For the majority of history,
I
unless
guess
they
it's
are,
just more comfortable.
yes, people leave because the author Dalrymple, who's talking about it, he grew up in Scotland, and he said, I didn't used to travel as much. And he also goes from Scotland and from a colder region, and is now living in Delhi, and because he thinks this is the place where there's the most history. Okay, and this is, now I was remembering, what if the problem with the White Walkers is that they will delete history, and one of the things that Dalrymple mentions is that he likes to be in a place where there's a lot of history. And one of the criticisms he has of America is that there aren't a lot of monuments which are historic, and so they'll have a 100-year-old monument and they'll somehow make it into a museum and make it very historic because they're starved for some level of history. Whereas in India, particularly New Delhi, wherever you go, you're going just down the road, and to the right will be a shrine that's been there for I don't know how many hundreds of years. Is there a human need for history? And what do you feel about your need for history, especially if the White Walkers are saying we're going to end, if their goal is to end history?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you can rebuild after, if it hinders your
You can make
ability
new
to
history.
rebuild, then it can be a problem.
So so the rebuilding is important. The past. What's the importance of the past?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Other than-
Then we don't care if the White Walkers win.
Well, we care about the
We
future.
have to care. We have to care about, because they're not destroying the future. They're destroying the past, aren't they?
Well, they're gonna kill them all. They're gonna delete and also
They'll bring him back to life.
they'll all be White Walkers.
Yes, but without
And
a
then
past.
that'll be the future.
Without a past. Isn't
Right,
that's
and-
the big dilemma? At least
Well, you'll
that's
have a
what it
future,
seems to
just
be.
the future as a white.
But there's no
Right.
but isn't that part of it that they will delete the past?
Yes, I guess so.
I guess maybe today we don't really care about the past. I don't know.
Really?
I'm interested in it. Like, it's interesting, but like,
I mean, I barely remember what happened last week.
Nor do you care to find out.
Actually, and on that note, the other thing that I was thinking about with our witty banter was this young woman, the 26-year-old Indian woman that the British officer fell in love with. She ends up, the researcher, the writer, is looking for some kind of documentation about what happened to her. And I was wondering if somebody was listening to, if somebody wanted to know, what would somebody want to know about either one of you or me?
Right.
That they'd say, let's go online and listen to what the heck they talked about on
I don't
Witty
know who
Banter.
would.
What would you do, or what would
If somebody was looking for some
Yes.
source material on
about
Nabil
Nabil
Rana,
Rana
Nabil
or
Rana.
Daniel
I was like,
Rana?
check out the YouTube channel, assuming YouTube still exists.
And watch every single podcast.
And just, I don't know where to point you, but just click a random video.
But why would they be looking for information about Nabil Rana? Historically, 100 years from now, why would someone be searching through the internet?
I don't
and-
think anybody's going to be searching
The
for
le-
Nabil in 100
legacy.
years.
What about
The Rana
Daniel?
legacy,
What
they'll be
about
like-
Daniel
Unless I
Rana?
made some impact
Well, she at the
beyond what
time,
little I've
all
done
she
so
did was
far.
she fell in love and had 2 kids.
Right.
And that was kind of, but it was a breaking. It was a taboo in her culture and the expectation, and also from the
Right.
other side. So that was in her brief life. That was her goal. What is he saying?
Michael says the future Rana children. Yes,
Well, look.
maybe.
We'll be like,
But that's one of those things you like one random day you're like, oh, I wonder what like my grandparents did, and
Yeah.
then it's just like done after maybe a couple hours. That was interesting.
Yeah.
you just
Back to cyberspace.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to look at the past, I guess, but like
It's no cooler than watching a movie.
yeah,
Because
unless
it's all made up.
Not that it's made up, but
Well, it is
Yeah.
someone's perspective. The story, I mean, even the story we heard was a second, third-hand version of the story.
it's
We
definitely
don't know.
interesting. But like, I
I
don't.
mean, if you're looking at a video of how to build a house and that was filmed in the
Mhm.
past, am I looking at history?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the video to understand how to build a house,
Mm-hmm.
not because I'm interested in like history, but I suppose that would be a reason to have history. But not to say
So then that
But
defeats
useful
the
things.
purpose. That's defeat. So are you not invested in this story?
which story.
The
This one?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm interested in the characters.
But do you
I'm interested in
even
how they
care?
progress, how they go forward.
Yes.
I don't care.
What the motivation is? What the White Walkers? Because that was what.
Yeah, I
we
care
were
about
discuss-
the motivation.
And if that's the motivation,
Yeah, that's such a.
like even Rob, we don't really think about him too much, and like that the Starks are gonna get vengeance against the Lannister family. But like I don't. I mean, it's part of the past.
so you don't
and part
care
of the
about
history.
the motivation.
I care about the motivation, but the White Walker wanting to remove human memory. I guess I don't get it.
Mm.
That equates to you just want to kill them.
And is that how did we
Blindly.
establish that this is the motivation? You just want
Brand
to
says-
erase.
said it.
Oh, that you want to erase everything.
That he wants Bran dead because he wants to erase
Yes,
history, and he's like the one.
he's the keeper of history.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Yeah.
Sam is very good at history too.
Maybe they should use him as bait.
Yes, yeah, he is. It is all documented.
How many episodes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3?
There's 4 left, including this one that's gonna come out.
This will be the biggest battle videotaped, or like
Like longest
cinematic,
battle sequence
of all time.
in movie and TV.
Yeah.
Michael says Maybe it was something to do when the little girl stabbed him and made him a White Walker.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was one of the first men, as they say. I don't know the history about them, but yeah, the little tree people stabbed him and then made him White Walker to kill humans who were harassing them. So yeah, it could be the Night King is like, you made me into a zombie, and I will kill everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, taking his revenge.
That, yeah, for creating me, and then also.
So
I
he's
feel like-
unhappy being a White Walker.
Michael's
maybe.
asking if he was in love with the little girl or something. I don't think so. I don't remember
They didn't
that.
show any relationship.
Wait, who the
little tree person who made the guy.
Oh no, at least from what I grabbed, they basically captured him,
Right.
and then they turned him into the White Walker. I don't think there was like a love story behind that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like they basically programmed him to just kill all the humans, and then he also got vengeance on them for turning him into the White Walker. So it's like a mix of being programmed to just destroy everything and destroy the people that created you, is my take on the Night King.
George R.R. Martin received a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, aggressive feedback from very enthusiastic fans of his books, because he was taking a while to come out with the new books, and people kept like complaining on the forums. What are your thoughts? What if you wrote a book and then everyone was getting angry? They're like, "Where's the next one?"
Mom wishes she had that.
Yes.
What do you feel about the pressure that you could feel from your reader base?
Where's the next book, Anika?
I have a feeling. What's his name? What's the author's
George
name? again?
R.R.
George Martin.
He's such a relaxed person. He
Yeah.
probably could not care less.
No,
Oh,
he did not.
He quoted. I forget what he
He did
said
not
on the
care.
matter, but yeah, it was like he does not care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just part of
This is selfish
human
people.
nature.
Yeah.
No, it's just human nature.
Gimme.
Yeah, I want more. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that ever happening to
Yeah.
me. So
and,
I can't.
I think it's
and
been
it, and
10
it would come out as there are these forums, and like people
Mhm.
would write posts on the forums about these things.
Wonder
Yes.
what, like, why he is taking long. Like, does he just like not want to do it, or is it like,
Well, it could be hard. You know, this stuff is not a computer. You can't just spit it all
yeah,
out.
that's true. But it's
Sometimes-
been like, what, 15 years, maybe more or less,
15 years since what?
since you've written a book, or I think
No.
10 years.
No.
No.
I thought he was writing recently.
I've seen interviews of him like a year or two ago releasing books like Blood and Fire or some.
I think it's been longer than a year though. Or I guess we can just Google it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that somebody, at least from the one interview that I've seen of him, someone who lived such an isolated life. It seems like he was isolated. He wasn't very sociable or social. As
He
a
read
young man.
history.
He read history, and he was able to make a connection with so many other people and understand what people want.
That's true.
And and you know how people say the more you meet with people, the more you can understand them, but it looks
Do they
like
say that?
I mean, you know, some people say that the more you interact with people, the more
Okay.
sociable you are, and
Sure.
you learn from interacting.
Sure.
But it looks like like Sam, reading more
Yeah, I agree.
and knowing history.
There's something to be said about taking lots of time to really think about things.
There's a lot to be said about thinking.
Yes.
On that note, should we give a moment of silence to thinking?
Okay. Let's give about a minute.
Yeah, okay.
moment to
Go ahead.
This is
Time
dedicated
us.
to thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a minute.
Has it really? Has it really?
Well, I don't know. I just looked at 4:49, and then that's
Well, you know what it
4:50.
reminded me of? The yoga class that I'm taking, that I take every few years. And you spend the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes sitting in silence and breathing deeply. And the first time I was doing that, I thought, gosh, I'm paying money to sit in silence and breathe. But I know you think all the time, but there's a difference between the intentionality of thinking and once you've decided you're not going to say and you're just going to focus on thinking, you feel as if you want to say something.
Yeah, it has to come naturally.
Yeah. Well, so what did you think about? Well, we had the moment of silence and
thinking.
thinking.
Yeah.
You thought of not thinking?
These are defeated the purpose.
You had to force yourself to not think? Is that what you're saying? Or you thought of the
Yeah.
concept of not
Well, I
thinking?
started thinking.
Let me check my phone. That's my thought.
Is that what was your thought?
I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. It was just. I was like, oh, this
Blank.
is funny. We're not talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to come.
I once heard an author speak about his book, and I wish I could remember the name of this book, but when he spoke, after each sentence, he had a very long pause, and when he started doing that, it was very irritating, because I thought, okay, there better be something profound after this deep silence.
Oh,
But then you kind of got into the habit of it, you know?
I like people who take. I like long pauses.
You do?
Well,
Pregnant
it
pauses.
allows me to
Mm.
properly think about things, and it's a power move.
Sometimes it's seen as weakness, but
As was described in the YouTube video about Charles Dance's character, Tywin.
Mm.
Some guy on YouTube made a video saying when someone asks him a question in the show,
Yes.
he always waits, and it's supposed to be a power move, because it's like, we will continue when I say we will continue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, definitely it is when you control what is said and what is not said.
Right.
sometimes I feel like during debates, if you pause to answer like the question and you don't, have the counter argument fast enough, it's seen as like, oh, I got you, like, can't think of anything.
But you have to have the look on your face
that
you're considering how to say.
Yeah, that's true.
what
If
you're
the look on your face is like,
yeah.
then
How is that look?
Then it's like, oh, I've got a really good argument and he can't think
Yeah.
of something to
Yeah.
say. So it can go both ways, I guess.
yeah.
But I disagree with that. I think it's like, okay,
I
they're
respect
thinking
the
of
long
it.
pauses.
Yeah.
Do you pay attention to people's faces as you're talking to them? Do any of you, either of you?
No,
Yeah, because I don't think I do. It's only after the fact, when you're watching a movie.
because I can't process what I'm trying to think
thinking.
about what I'm saying. I can't.
Yes.
If I have to think about your face, then I have to think about your face,
Yes.
and I think that then just you're not gonna say something good.
Well, in intercultural communication and all that, they talk about how people's
Make eye contact.
yes, the eye contact part,
That's a
which is a
power
big
move.
deal. Yes, it is.
I don't understand why it is. It's
Um,
kind of distracting, actually.
is it?
I mean, I do it because I want to.
When I'm
Because
not
I know
making
it
eye
makes an
contact-
effect on the person. I noticed that.
When I'm not making eye contact, sometimes I feel as if I'm talking to myself. And there are times when I'll be thinking through something and I'll be talking and I'm not considering the other person.
Yeah.
I'm just considering what I want to say versus what the other person needs to hear.
Yeah. But when I'm talking, if I look at someone, make eye contact, then like I get distracted because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, my brain's like processing, looking
Yes.
at them.
Yes.
But then if I can just like look somewhere blankly, now I could be like, okay, what are we talking about? All right. Now I can think.
Let me think of the content rather than think
Right,
of
exactly. So now actually when I initiate a conversation, I'll make eye contact
you. Mm-hmm.
the first time. And then as we go, I'll look somewhere else, listen, think, and then when I'm ready to say, I'll connect and then disconnect. And yeah, those are my techniques on how to make eye contact when having a conversation.
or how to listen, actively listen.
Do you have a conversation technique?
Well, I've just realized, like actively listening is probably, I feel like the biggest weakness for any conversation. Because most of the time when you're conversing with someone, rather than listening to what they're saying, sometimes you'll already have a thought that you want said,
And you think,
and
"Come
you're
on."
waiting for that person to end. So, yeah, I think
I'm pretty good at holding on to those thoughts and waiting.
well, it's good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's easy to hold on to them, but the problem is like sometimes I feel like I'll think of something and think of how I'm gonna say it, but I'm not paying attention to what someone else is saying.
Mm. Yeah.
Listening is supposed to be a leadership skill.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
But sometimes what you hear is a lot of noise.
This is why you have to be alone.
Is that the problem with Daenerys? Is that she's listening to too many, or not listening enough? She has like 6 or 7 advisors at this point.
Yeah.
She's an independent thinker.
I think so.
Yeah.
She listens and then does what she
Yeah.
wants.
Takes her own idea.
That's true.
Or at least she seems like one.
But you don't like her.
Yeah, she's not one where I kind of
Her
don't
attitude has
buy
been,
it. I don't know why. I just don't buy the story.
Her motivation of needing to be on the throne because her father was on the throne. I know
Yeah.
it goes with the theme of everything.
Right.
lineage.
Yes, lineage, but that's not I mean, if she said, I want
I
to
mean, if
be
she's
in
here to
Well,
break,
she's here to break.
she's here to
chains
break-
as well.
the,
And free the people.
Slavery.
Right.
But her
yeah.
argument of taking the throne is, I have the royal blood.
yeah, but like here she is breaking tradition of
Yes.
slavery,
We'll
and
break
now
that
she's
one
not
too.
looking to break the tradition of
monarchy.
some. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
Let's have
that's
a
not
vote.
that. That's not that much more
Let's
forward
have a
than.
democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had mentioned that. I think
Yeah.
last time. What happens if they just at
Yes.
the end?
Because
well,
she
yeah,
seemed
let's make a
concerned
democracy.
about John having Targaryen blood.
I guess one step at a time.
Yeah.
You get rid of slavery first.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't
don't-
buying her story at first until I heard about the backstory of dragons, or the last Targaryens
I
ruling
guess
for
sometimes you
thousands of
forget
years.
that like that's a huge.
It's like having a
force.
nuclear weapon in medieval times.
You forget like having dragons is like
Well,
a big
in
deal.
non-existent times.
Right.
Wait, what did he say?
Having a dragon
Well, I said it's comparative to
Yes,
having
yes.
like a machine
Back
gun
in the day.
in medieval
was
times.
made because they wouldn't have had a nuclear. They would not have had nuclear power. They wouldn't have that concept in that
Right.
story if it was.
I think he's just saying like if you had a nuke and you were in medieval times, like in
Yes.
our history,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be
yes.
super overpowered.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
yes.
he's just like saying like
Like
that's
that.
That is. I get it.
What was Michael saying?
no new comments.
Oh,
How much time do we got here? 2 minutes. Yeah, we
Right,
can
we'll wrap it up.
we can wrap it
Now
up.
we need to wrap it up with the enthusiasm
Oh,
that we
man.
started out with. Because you were
You were
super
woo!
energized.
Super energy. All right.
Fresh
well,
off the vegan diet.
That was what we talked about today. We talked about veganism, sustainability, Game of Thrones. I hope you go out there and do something productive after watching Game of Thrones. Get out there and be somebody. Spank your booty into action. And then thanks you for listening and tuning in. And until next time, toodaloo.